gray and blue bike, Rob Grinsley. He's the senior member of our team. He's been with Harley-Davidson the longest. He was police motor officer in Charleston, South Carolina, where he was fortunate enough to only be on the road for 6 months before he had the opportunity to go to motors. So he enjoyed an entire career on police motors. The second bike, the blue and white bike, is operated by Brian Hurt. He's the youngest member of our team. He was a police officer in Hutchinson, Kansas for 25 years, rode police motors for 21. So to talk a little bit about our training, police motor officers train diligently on these motorcycles to make it safe and efficient for them to operate under very difficult circumstances. You want to be able to respond when needed, quickly and accurately, without hitting anything, and sometimes fitting through very confined spaces. So about that training, if you notice, as they're turning, these officers are employing, or these operators are employing a technique called head and eyes. They're looking where they want to go, or basically across the turn, keeping their head and eyes up, looking at the horizon. They're also employing another technique that we call clutch throttle. What that means is they're maintaining a relatively steady RPM, and they're working the friction zone on the clutch, letting the clutch out a little to add speed and power to the rear wheel, and squeezing it in a little when it's appropriate to slow the bike down, to enable them to make the tight turns that you see them making here, and to accelerate briskly out of the turn. So to talk a little bit about our motorcycles, Harley-Davidson Motorcycle Company has continuously made police duty motorcycles since 1908. There's not another brand on the planet that can say that. So we make police-specific motorcycles and have done so since 1908. What you're going to see the guys do now is stand on the seat and navigate through the same code course. What they're doing is not showing off. I mean, obviously they're very talented riders, but they don't need to show off. But in that sense, what they're doing is showing you how capable these almost 900-pound motorcycles actually are. And yes, that's what they weigh with the police equipment on them, because there's an extra battery in that tour pack where you see the lights on the back. So with all that gear, almost 900 pounds. And yet, it can maneuver through all these cones with the proper skill and the proper technique. Notice, what this is showing you is that it can be done without using the rear brake, because obviously they can't do that if their feet are on the seat. And it can still be accomplished if you raise the center of gravity of the motorcycle that much by standing up on the seat and the profile of the bike being that much higher. So obviously the bike is very capable, and obviously these guys are very capable. Anyway, with respect to the training, there are multiple courses out there that you can acquire the basic skills that we did when we were training as motor officers. The other component is, once you acquire the skills, then you have to practice. And to get as good as these guys, you need to put in thousands of hours of practice. What you see them doing now is basically when we compete in what's called the slow race. And the slow race is to get from point A to point B in as long a period of time as you can. The objective here is to basically stop the motorcycle while not putting your feet down. Keep both feet on the floorboards. Rob is so good at this that people sometimes walk away because they get bored of watching him go nowhere. And basically it's like watching a paint dry. And Brian is pretty darn good at it himself. So the reason for this is that many times police motor officers need to get through large crowds of people as quickly as they can, but they also need to get through safely. Sometimes people are not paying attention at large events, large crowds, or there's a lot of noise, they don't know you're there, and you need to be with barely moving the motorcycle while navigating through them, because you never want to run someone over. So these guys practice that skill, and as we all do, all police motor officers. These bikes are on road ride. This is the latest offering from Harley-Davidson police motorcycle in a gas-powered motorcycle. That we have. We developed and started offering this motorcycle as a police model, because we want the police agency to because it's more stable at high speeds than the battling fairing of the police electrified. We still offer the police electrified as well as the police Road King that you see to my right, in the bright blue bike. The Road King is used mostly by urban police departments. The battling fairing bike, the electrified, is used by mostly suburban agencies, and we are seeing lots of agencies that operate at higher speeds and work on the highway at a regular basis are taking over the road line. Like you see, it's the heaviest and largest of our models that we currently offer. And yet, as you see, it's quite amazing. So what these guys generally do when they're practicing here is they challenge each other. So Rob has been at this so long and has attended so many police motorcycle skills competitions and won so many trophies that he's earned the nickname of Mr. Rodeo, because that's what we call these motorcycle skills competitions. Brian, being the younger guy, and Junior Rob, has won his share of trophies as well, and as you can see, is very proficient. But he's attempting to surpass Rob's level of proficiency. So these guys constantly challenge each other, and the way they do that is what you're watching right now. So Rob is leading, making his own path of travel, while Brian attempts to follow him without making a mistake. And that mistake would be putting his foot down, hitting a cone. Up, Rob lost, he put his foot down first. That's unusual, but it happens. So now that that challenge is over, we'll switch places, and Brian will lead Rob around and see if he can who beats who out. Again, the objective is to get the other individual. So the person picking the path of travel wants to pick a spot that's so difficult that the person following will have no choice but to put their foot down, hit a cone, drop the bike, or hit the other bike. Just an aside, and so you know, these bikes have not been modified in any way, shape, or form. The only thing that does not come from factory on these motorcycles is the emergency equipment. So the lights that you see flashing and the sirens on these bikes are installed at dealer. Other than that, they're exactly the same way that any police agency can buy them directly from the factory. All our police bikes come standard with a suite of safety enhancements, which include lean angle enhanced ABS, blink brakes, lean angle enhanced traction control with a rain mode, and he got it himself that time. Tried to be tricky, he tricked himself. Anyway, going to have a round of applause for Rob and Brian. So now Rob is going to bring out a brand new introduction